One thing I've always liked doing is when I see unfamiliar languages, I try and guess what the language is based on my knowledge of the writing systems and that sort of thing. So recently I thought I might try and make this into a game that I could play consistently. So I wrote this little Python script which it looks at the Wikipedia page, well, I should say the meta Wikipedia page for the list of all Wikipedias in different languages. And then it picks a random language up from that list. And then it picks a random article and shows that to me in the browser. Within an iframe, so you can't see the URL, which would give away the language code, which would, well, I don't know all the language codes, but it would help a little bit, so I thought I may as well do that. But anyway, it shows you a Wikipedia page in a random language, and you can guess what the language is from there. So I'll show you how it works. So I'm running it now, and it should load a page. There we go. So here's the language. Daejeon Stesen. This is somewhere in South Korea. That doesn't mean the language is in South Korea. It's a weird one because a lot of the words on this page are Korean, which is making me think Korean. But I mean, it wouldn't be Korean because that would be written in Hangul. House Blong Tok Tok. You know, Blong, it's a word that appears in a lot of Creole languages, so I'm thinking this might actually be a Creole language, and in fact, Daejeon Stesen station, E is railway, Station Long, that probably means like in or at, line. So yeah, this is definitely an English-based Creole. I don't really know the way to tell the differences. Look, history, view history. I don't know the differences between the different English Creoles, but one famous English Creole is Tok Pisin, so that's what I'm going to go for. It was Bislama. Well, I was close. And I do tend to not get this game right very often. Okay, there's not much on this page, but we can see this bit here. Ntsida. That makes me think an African language. Also, Wikipedia, you've got a noun class prefix here. So there's loads of African languages it could be. Like the most well-known one is Swahili, and I don't really have any different way of differentiating between them. I guess it's not just an African language. I can say that this is a Bantu language, most likely, or at least related to the Bantu languages. I just feel like it's not quite Swahili. I'm gonna go for could it be Zula or Kosa, I mean. What about Shona? I think that's the language of Zimbabwe. It was Kosa. Alright, here's another one. Now this looks like a Romance language. And it looks a little bit... It looks Italianish, but also not just Italian. Because it's got a bit too many U's in it. I don't think Italian has that. So... Another guess, really. Could it be Romanian? What's this? That's a grave accent. I think it could be Romanian. I feel like Romanian looks different, but it's probably the best guess I can make. Corsican. Alright. Santiago Magalagudo, Chile. Kitaba, that means book in Arabic and languages which have borrowed the Arabic word for book. Actually I can see the language code here on, but that doesn't really help me that much. So I was thinking like Finnish or something because of the long consonants and vowels, but I think it might actually be an African language. But it doesn't look like a Bantu language. It says Fula up here, which is probably not connected to the language being Fula. But Fula is an African language. Was spoken in like West Africa. I'm just going to go for it. It was Oromo, that makes sense. I don't really know what Oromo or the other Cushitic languages look like. I guess that's what they look like. Alright, I think this is an easy one. Oh no, it's not easy. But this is clearly a Germanic language. Was ein französischen Komponist studierte. I think it might be some kind of Low German. Listen. Unerjuchtende Selwen wieder studierte. Hier studierte. So in standard German that would be studiert, I think. I feel like it's probably Low German. I don't know if it'll be under, let's say Low Saxon. Saterland Frisian, there you go. Well, this looks very Dutch. But is that just because the people named here are Dutch people? There's not a Moata. We know that that's... Oh, and also Doorzeug. De Geschiedenissen bekuchen. I feel like it's Dutch, but it's not quite actual Dutch. Perhaps it's another variety of Frisian. I'm gonna go with West Frisian. West Flemish. Muhammad, by Muhammad, Tausnimega. I feel like this is a Turkish language. Or possibly some kind of Uralic language. Looks a bit more Uralic to me, actually. Could it just be Estonian? It might be, you never know. The Voro, a divergent dialect of Estonian. Aha, here's one I know. This has got to be Albanian because of the umlaut e's. But Albanian is just a language with a very distinctive look. I don't think there's any language that looks quite like Albanian. Yeah, it's Albania. We got one right for the first time. Manditorde en xantemante du hufune koritkamas hitratiras. It's also looking vaguely Uralic, but not very sure at all. No, interesting. It's looking a bit more African from here. That's an implosive consonant, right? It reminds me a bit of Oromo from before. So, what other Cushitic languages are there? I don't really know any other than Oromo. Somali? Does Somali look like that? I feel like that's not Somali. What language do they speak in Chad? Or like Sudan? I need to brush up on my knowledge of that region of the world. It's definitely more African. It's got beat and consonant and everything. What about a sort of I just need to think of an African language from like the Central African area, because that's where I think it's most likely to be. What about Hausa? Could it just be Hausa? Fula, the one I said before. So that's what Fula looks like. Alright, here we have a non-Latin alphabet. It's not one I'm immediately familiar with. It's quite hard for me to tell apart the Caucasian scripts and the Indic scripts. This could be either as far as I can tell. It does have these little accents underneath the letters, which I think are more typical of an Indic script. Let's take a wild guess at Gujarati. Khmer. So it was an Indic script, but not one from India itself. We've got a Romance language here. Cidade is looking Spanish-ish. Ain Yasser, but clearly not Spanish. É distrito localizado na província de Batna, no noroeste da Argélia, e cuja capital é a cidade de mesmo nome em Yasser. I feel like it is in Catalan, but that's the best guess I have. Oh, it was simply Portuguese. Alright, we've got a Cyrillic language here. So, is it Russian? Rudak, Perem, Ladoris, Komi, Kitchen, Yusva, Ryonis. So we've got this E here. I think that means it's not Russian because Russian doesn't have this letter. Karlov, Posad, Muas. But it's not looking not Russian. Like apart from that E, everything else was consistent as far as I could tell with it being Russian. We've also got an O umlaut. I think that's also something that wouldn't happen in Russian. I think the sensible thing to go for may therefore be Ukrainian, which I know is quite similar to Russian but not quite the same. Komi Permyak, quite different actually. That's a Uralic language. Ghana Abator or Ghana no Kor. Okay, I think this is Akan. I think that's the language we speak in Ghana, and this looks like what I expect Akan to look like. It was Akan. Vorpera. A esto me muxe e esto o. I think that title might actually be giving it away. Or maybe not, because I'm thinking Estonian, but I don't think it's quite Estonian. I'm just going to say it. Cheyenne, completely different. Trefort. Es na vieja comena francesa et arpetana du Revermont. Well, this is an interesting Romance language. It doesn't really look to me like I can't tell you whether it's more French or more Spanish or more Italian. Perhaps the closest one is French. I think I will go for Occitan. Franco-Provençal. Alright, that one's a giveaway. That's clearly a simple English Wikipedia. We may need to do something about Wikipedias that give away the language in that area. Kenomoro yeo e elegu magaleng. Shupa. Interesting. So this is an Austronesian, well, it looks Malayish or Indonesian, but it also has this shupa, also a hl, sekete. I could be totally wrong. Mako. It could actually be an African language. In fact, I don't think Zulu has this sh sound, but otherwise it looks kind of similar to what I think either Zulu or Xhosa are like. So maybe Tswana, because I know that's also closely related. Northern Soto, I think I was pretty close. It's one of those Nguni languages. San Francisco. Anglisagao San Francisco e Aisha, so that's for USA, Aisha, e Zingadar. So this is not Russian, that is not a Russian letter. Zingadar, Sakhartai, EU, Laui, Stadt, California, Sabir, Fordi, Bilil, Sakhari, Tsarins. Okay, I won't read the whole thing, but not Russian, probably not Slavic. I'm thinking some kind of Mongolic or Turkish language. Let's try Altai. Ossetian. Pa diedun qualendi. Español. Ahora en tiempo récord. Manera conenidad telenovela celebro el nuevo drama. Takon Kanosi. This is quite a mysterious one. And it's got all these palatal ends. Since it looks totally familiar, I'm thinking it might be an American Indian language or something. Let's go for Guarani. Papiamento. I think that's American English, isn't it? Or is it a Creole of some sort? Papiamento is a Portuguese-based Creole language spoken in the Dutch Caribbean. Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, Saint Eustatius, and Sava. Well, there you go. This looks like a Polynesian language. It's not Hawaiian, it has T's. Could it be Maori? I didn't see any evidence that it's not Maori. Tahitian. We have a word with 3 U's in it. Suke. It's probably not pronounced like that. Ki. Definitely not Russian. It's using this letter in some different way from what it's used in Russian. Probably to represent some sort of sound. There's also, I don't know if that's just the font or it's some kind of special curved K. Quazawat. Literatura. Gib Giber Giberiule Giberiule Suko Koazawat Bir Jan Janindan Soviet Soyuz Emda Ani Janlila Bla Bashcha Janindan A B Shah Emda not a lot of idea on this one. Obviously a language in the Russian sphere. Could it be like Caucasian? We had a Sichan before, maybe it is just a Sichan again. Karachay-Balkar. Pretty close, at least in terms of the language being in the same area. A rare example of a pretty long language, and I feel fairly sure that this is Romanian. Although that S, I'm not sure if that's a letter in Romanian. But it definitely looks Romance, but a very Slavic style Romance. It was Romanian. There we go, we got another one right. Kakun yet Tortoru. That is a weird word. Woko England. Wokoit yet Takoila. Takoia. I think that's Takoia. An O, then a long E, and the diaeresis to indicate hiatus, maybe. Very little information available on this page, so it really is going to be a wild guess. Just gonna say Uyghur. It was in fact Marshallese. Yeah, France Kuro. Okay. Akan maybe? You must specify a valid dialect. Maybe this Wikipedia is doing a weird thing. Wait, so it was Akan. It was just Akan again. Conteth Cambria in Saulsneck, Cambria County, il Conteth in Pennsylvania Status Unis America. So, pretty sure this is a Celtic language. But I feel like it's not Welsh. If it's not Welsh, pretty much the only option is Breton. I don't think any other language looks like that. Cornish, of course. I should have thought for a moment there, because Cornish is... There are 3 Brittonic Celtic languages. Cornish, Breton, and Welsh. Alright, this has got to be Hebrew, right? I don't know of any other languages that use the Hebrew alphabet. Yiddish. Of course, it was in fact Yiddish. Ikaw wano etangibok. Very short, concise page. We also have Nguni wano kaduru. Click omo edar animwem iare tsubakor. Iwiudit tsimedu. Tamo page ipuak. Buiema page. Encyclopedia. Eminengame. Encyclopedia Eminengame. Not sure if African or Austronesian. Leaning slightly towards African. Like East African maybe. Let's go for Maasai. It's probably not Maasai. Nauruan. It was Austronesian then, in fact. Nauruan the Polynesia? I don't know, it might be in Micronesia or Melon, or in Nairofinesias. Like, is Tonga part of Polynesia? I think Tonga is part of Polynesia. I think Nauru is near Tonga, so it probably is part of Polynesia. But not like far Polynesia. Anyway. Mironov Alexandr Sergeyevich. So this is a guy. Ulon Sjureses. Udmurt. Alright, we have a word Udmurt here. So could this language be Udmurt? I know it's spoken in Russia. Maybe we have a special interest in things Udmurt on this language. It's not really. Oh, I guess it's not Russian. We've got OE umlaut. I'm just gonna say Udmurt. It was in fact Udmurt. I was given some clues by the page. Here we have a language in Arabic script, which I'm really not good at distinguishing different varieties from. Something about it says not plain old Arabic to me. I'm gonna go with Kurdish, Kashmiri. Oh no, this is an interesting script. Pretty sure that's an Indic script. Or maybe Southeast Asian, possibly. What do they speak in Nepal? It's a completely random guess, I have no grounds, but I think it's just called Nepali, Tibetan. I was thinking it looked quite Chinese-ish, so I was thinking like near China. I should have gone nearer China. Nepal was still a bit too far away. Brezhye pri Senushah. This is looking like a South Slavic language. This is talking about a place in Slovenia. Therefore, my expectation is it's Slovenian. Bosnian, in fact. Cherezenka, Tobel, Pshadin. Interesting. So, it starts off looking Polish. Keeps looking Polish. Then we get these E umlauts which throw us off a bit. Then we have an A. It's weird. Could it be an obscure, like, nearby Polish language, like, I don't know, Pomeranian? I'm just gonna say Pomeranian. Kashubian. Yeah, I was pretty accurate. That's one of those other minority Slavic languages in Poland. Portugal, no. I'm just thinking whenever I see those and or IPA letters, I'm thinking Aka. Oh, it was actually Ewe this time. Luke of Luke is the cultural hoofdstad van Wallonië. The hoofdstad. So it's obviously Dutchish, but is it Dutch? I feel like it's not Dutch. Could it just be like Flemish? I'm gonna say Flemish. Limburgish. Close. Bodin. No, Borny. Some false friends in those Cyrillic letters. Definitely not Russian. We've got an A with breath. Chavash. Could that be Chuvash? I'm gonna go for it. It was in fact Chuvash. It's easy to do this when you get told by the page. Now this is an interesting script. Is that Thai or something like that? Could it even be like one of those American Indian syllabic scripts? I'm going to say Thai with very little confidence. Telugu. Aha. That's a South Indian language. Yama kadaroma trewa yama. Lots of long vowels in this. We saw a language very similar to this earlier, but I can't think of what it was. Oh, was it South Soto or something like that? Somali, of course. Okay. I think this is going to be the last one for now. Specie siniuga meropakan bagian dari kelas Demus menjadi film porifera subregnum. Seperti spons pada umumnya, spesies ini memiliki tubuh yang I think Malay. Probably not Malay, but some obscure language related to Malay, but I'll say Malay. Indonesian, so close. Alright, we're done for now. I should probably add something to the script to keep track of the score, but I think the general theme of it is clear. I got very few of these right, and some of the ones I got right were not really based on my linguistic identification abilities. I can probably improve what I like the basic idea of this game. Maybe we can do it with different sample text and things. I'm sure I can figure something out.